Indigenous round underway at Amy Park here in Melbourne. Conditions perfect for rugby league. And big Stefano with the charge back.
Good play the ball. Here goes Harry.
Yep, he's off again. Wishart, Pappenhausen. Knocked it on. Haas. He picks it up. He's trying to run away from them. He weaves inside of Wishart. He keeps the ball alive. Shibasaki's there in support. Tackle not finished. He goes again. Walsh has it. Sends it out wide. That was a forward pass. I was just going to laud the catch of Selwyn Cobbo at full tilt, but it was in vain. Wishart mops up, but he's tackled immediately. Ah, there you have it. Penalty against Melbourne.
Into the ruck.
No problem. Carrigan, away to Ezra. He saves the day, Coates, and he might pound away upfield. He gets to the 30. Reynolds is after him. Here's the wild man. He's missed him. Mariner's back to Coates. And Cobbo from the far side. Xavier Coates with another specky. They were all coming to get him, and no one did.
So at this point, it's simultaneous grounding, which is out, and no try. We have a decision.
Confirmation, both Adam Reynolds and Ezra Mam have suffered hamstring injuries, and it is unlikely that either of them will be back onto the field tonight. You can see Adam Reynolds there at the bottom of your screen. He's looking quite dejected. And
Munster, floating kick. Not especially deep, but a difficult one to catch. It was knocked back by Brisbane. Anderson on the spot. Try-saving tackle by Walsh.
Now, Selwyn Cobbo's down in back play.
Oh, go on.
Holding a lower leg. He goes straight to his side.
Wishart, right foot step. He busts through, he puts it over to score. The Broncos are cursed here. Selwyn Cobbo is gone now.
Well, it all started, and there's Cobbo on the ground. Yeah, I'd be trying to get Pappenhausen on Gajewski out to the left.
This is the way they head. This is Pappy, a dummy, a run, a step, and a try. You saw it coming. Munster, for air, Xavier. Coates gets up in the air. He got a good grasp on it. There's a penalty.
Jack, hang on. No, mate, I'm not penalising you. I'm penalising Jack for an escort, okay?
5 metres away. The Broncos trying to hang on to their chances of winning this game in an unlikely position. Super fast play the ball. Grant gives it away and Coates dives over.
He is on another planet since Origin, Harry Grant.
Harry from the aero. Now Pappenhausen sends it straight away to his back rower. It's a Chan in the centre's part of me. 4 metres to the line. Pappenhausen sneaks down the short side. Oh, he got very close. In fact, half his body's over. Oh, 6 more. At least it's durable. Here comes Coates. He contests the high kick. He reaches out and puts it down. And another one to the highlights reel.
Kick it to Xavier Coates.
Yeah, he kept the arm off the ground, so he couldn't get a double movement. Goes up, watch the right hand, doesn't hit the doesn't hit the ground. Here we go, Sherlock Holmes.
In our opinion, the fact that he gets to the line, it would be a penalty try. We have a decision.
The ball fired away to Mariner. He sprints for the corner and stretches out. He's gone here, Cobbo. He tried to get up and go.
Looking at the left hand here of Dean Mariner. It's in touch now prior to a grounding. We have a decision.
And a big win for the Storm here at home against a Brisbane Broncos team that was riddled with terrible luck tonight. 22 points to 2.
Craig, big win there, a big defensive effort as well, keeping them to 2. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, that was one of our better defensive, efforts of the season. I thought, they obviously had, a fair bit of bad luck there with losing, a couple of players, and then they got, I think, another injury. I think Cobbo got hurt as well. So they had real bad night there. Very unlucky. So, but like I say, I thought our defence was probably as good as it's been all year, or one of our best defensive efforts. There's still a few things probably attack-wise we can improve in a bit, but certainly it was a really good defensive effort, and we're real happy with that.
I think halfway through the second half, with 20 minutes to go, there was only 10 missed tackles across the whole game. Is that something you've really been focusing on, that defensive work at training? Is it something, obviously, you pride yourself on defence, but that's pretty remarkable at this point too. Gives you good stead heading into finals. Yeah,
I think it probably has been one of our foundations, or it's one thing that I sort of like to see in the game. A good defence, and it probably has been a little bit inconsistent during the season. Again, we just got to be consistent with it, doing it again next week. That's going to be the thing, and then the week after, So, but like I say, we got off to a good start tonight, and hopefully we can keep that sort of effort up.
One thing that's been consistent is the way that Coates is going up for those tries. Cam Monster's kicks. It's just, it's magical to watch almost.
Yeah, it's he's been such a great addition to our team. Since he come here, and he just keeps really getting better and better. To be quite honest, not just them. It's sort of he's probably defending a lot better now. He's a lot more comfortable around the team, and willing to get other players in the team advice or a little rev when they need it. So he's been he had a great year last year, and he's had a wonderful year this year so far. So hopefully he can keep it up. How did you rate Harry's game? His big milestone. Yeah, I know he was very good. You always get full effort from Harry. Sometimes he might put his effort into the wrong areas, or what I see as the wrong areas. But I thought the last couple of weeks have probably been the better games that he's had for us. He's just he always comes up with one real big play where he probably sprints somewhere and saves a try for us. He definitely leads by example, and with every respect for the rest of the players, he's willing to do that as well. Was that change, like you said, mentioned at post-Origin, like last couple of weeks, probably been his best? Like, was there a moment, was there a conversation that you had? Do you feel like Harry turned it around, or is it just off his own? Oh no, I think we always have a conversation after every game, but like I say, I just think sometimes he probably tries too hard. That's a pretty good trait to have, to be quite honest. You'd rather see someone trying too hard than not hard enough. But so there's but like I say, it's I'll take that any day of the week, and we just have a bit of a chat after the games about what we think we might be able to do better, and what he might be able to do better, and what I might be able to do better as well. So every now and then he's got a bit of advice from me as well, so I take that on board. What do you tell him, Harry?
Keep picking me. Tyron's proving so valuable, isn't he?
Ever since he's been here, he's been exactly that, and with Husey not playing the last two or 3 weeks, whatever it's been, he's filled in there really well. And then, like tonight, we planned to bring Pez on, when we did bring him on, like with about 30 minutes to go, and then just see, where we would use which then, So we ended up putting him in the ruck, and then he ended up finishing the game in the centres, So, his versatility is, unbelievable, and he never lets you down. He always gets the job done, and he's a great asset to have around.
How does he stay so focused? When he's sometimes needed for 20 minutes instead of the full 80.
Yeah, like I say, I'm not quite sure what his thinking pattern is, but like I say, he never seems to have too much trouble going from one position to the other. He's probably grew up, doing that, I'd imagine. I think, his main position is in the halves. I think that's, as a kid, he's probably played there a heap, and I think that sort of helped him when he was, playing a bit of dummy half for us as well, Went round Origin time, and but like I say, he just seems to be able to stick him anywhere, and he gets the job done for us.
Craig, how much how much, if at all, did your plans change at half-time in response to Brisbane losing both their halves? Because that's quite a unique circumstance.
We didn't really. I wouldn't say it changed a lot. Obviously, we probably wanted to complete a bit better, and that would be any time. But we were just wary of, with Ben Hunt going into the halves and Katoni going into the halves, they were probably going to run the ball a lot more than the two halves that went off. So we were being aware of not going off them while they had the ball, and just make sure we were staying on them, and because I thought they'd run the ball a lot more than what they'd pass the ball, and I thought our guys done a real good job there.
Craig, just confirming, Hughesy could be back towards the back end of the season. It's touch and go, but you said this week perhaps, maybe, with his shoulder.
Yeah, again, I don't think we're any wiser than what we were last week. He seems to be coming on, pretty well, and the physios are happy with the way he's coming on. So, hopefully, we'll get him back sooner rather than later. But, I just love to see him play a game before the finals, to be quite honest. So, we'll just see how that goes. And we've got 4 weeks before the finals now. So, we'll just see what happens. But, as I said, Wish is doing a great job there, and Pez come on and done a solid job as well. So we're certainly not going to rush him.
What does Hughesy add in the coach's box?
Not much, actually. He's pretty quiet. That's the way he is. But he does come up. If he says something, that's he means it, and it's probably pretty good advice, to be quite honest. So he just gives us another little angle. So it's good. I'd much rather have him on the field though, but in the box. But but he certainly adds something up there as well.
You're on top of the ladder at least for 24 hours. Do you celebrate that?
No, not really. Again, there's another game on next week, so we'll have a couple of beers. We got another, I think, Thursday night next week, which is a 7-day turnaround. So I like to say at the end of the day, it's a win, and we celebrate any sort of win, and against the Broncos, we always know that they're a hard team to beat. But as I said, we won't be getting too carried away. They had a real tough night with those injuries, and we'll go from there.
Is it just a 1 week thing with him?
Not quite sure. I think it's going to be a little bit more than 1 week. I don't think it's not going to be a 6 or 8 weeker, but it's going to be a bit more than one, I think.
Thanks, Robert.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jed.
Harry, doubtful. Well, you didn't want to talk, or what?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Madge, really tough scenes for the Broncos out there with those 3 hamstring. Is it confirmed hamstring for all 3 of them?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. What's sort of I suppose, start with Adam Reynolds. Did he hear anything? What was the extent of what conversations have you had with him?
Look, I just spoke to the 3 of them. We'd have to go and get our scans and go through the process of the severity of them. But they're all 3 hamstrings, which is quite strange because the boys are pretty measured about what they do with the players throughout the week. So there's no real sort of evidence of why that may happen, but we'll dig into it and have a look. It's a bit of a shame, but I've got to say I'm really proud of the way the players performed. We came down here and they prepped really well, and it's always the game that you saw out there is that you're playing a long game, which I spoke about, I suppose, last week, and I felt that the players fought right to the death. I've never been a part of a game where you lose your 2 halfbacks. And then, the chopping and changing of players, and they were still in the game in some way towards the back end. So it says a lot about the character of the team.
That was sort of what you said at half-time, was just have belief in the fact that you could sort of rally behind and have sort of those changes. Is that what gives you, I suppose, hope moving forward over these next couple of rounds when you're likely to be without those 3?
We'll be right. I mean, we've got people in the background that, can come in. So, that's part of the progression, and, we've been able to bring a few people in and change around a little bit. We'll work through that throughout the week.
Was Cobbo struggling with anything with his hammy in the first half, or was that completely separate? He felt it go well?
That was completely separate. He just got sort of bent backwards when Katoni sort of fell back on him. So he was fine at half time. He was okay. It was just unfortunate that he sort of tried to evade someone and turn, and away it went.
What was it like in the coach's box, like losing 2 halves in like the one play? Were you sort of like, I don't know, didn't know where to look?
It was crazy, to be honest. I mean, I've never experienced that But to the players' credit, I felt they handled it really well. I mean, they were fighting in that game. Benny went to the halves and Billy came on, and then Katoni went into the halves as well, and we had back rowers in the centres, and it just showed what I feel is the character of what the boys have been building for quite some time. The fight that's in them, and playing tough. They played tough because they had to. It's just unfortunate we couldn't quite get the plays on in that second half. We had a few errors and put a bit more pressure back on ourselves. So that did hurt. It's the way it is.
Did Selwyn show how much he wanted that position in the team with that chase down tackle on Xavier Coates?
Yeah, I thought that a lot of the players showed effort like that. I mean, there were times there where on our right edge we had Jack in the centres, and he was saving tries over there, and Pappenhausen obviously swung around there quite a few times, and to see Selwyn chase across and everyone get back and stop the try there, that was. Once again, I keep going back to the character of what this team's been building. And we've gone through plenty together, and I was super proud of what they did tonight.
Ben, what was it like out there for you in terms of that? It was pretty chaotic when they sort of went down, working out who was going off, what was happening in the shuffle. Just recall what you were doing out there.
Yeah, the next couple of sets after that was pretty chaotic. Katoni and I ended up swapping sides a couple of times, but we got it worked out. And like Madge said, we fought hard, but we just didn't really give ourselves a chance. Our end of sets weren't great. We turned over a lot of ball. We got to half time. We still felt like we were in it if we could just, get our act together a bit. But like Madge said, we made a couple of errors and just hurt ourselves.
You've been a part of massive games at pointy ends of the season and having to, deal with injuries. How important is it these next couple of weeks to try and deal with three losses for the squad to have the belief that you have had and proven that you have there tonight?
Oh, it's extremely important the next few games. Like Madge said, we've got a few guys that have been working hard in the background that have played some NRL in the past and this year that can come in. So we'll get back to training on Monday and sort all that out and push forward to next week.
Given the unusual and difficult circumstances tonight, are you immediately writing this result off, or how much analysis are you going to be doing on this match compared with
We'll get a bit out of it. I mean, I think Benny alluded to there, like we had an opportunity there where we had a couple of errors in the back end of that second half, especially going down into the good ball area where you create an opportunity. So, they're things that we'll be able to take from obviously the game. But, if the boys keep turning up and prepping the way they have and performing like that, it's going to fall your way when the time's right.
What were your thoughts on the penalty try at the end?
I'd have to have a look at that. I thought that was an unusual call, that one. But look, I just want to focus on my team performing the way they did. It's something there that the players have moved towards, and that won't change. But it was an unusual one, that one.
Reece Walsh had, I think, 2 forward passes this evening, not just quite off the mark, but does it feel like he's working at that training? You're seeing behind the scenes him trying to really nail those sort of executions? Yeah,
he practices those. You've got to be able to execute that. That's part of what we'll take away from the game, and timings and passing and things like that. So, if you execute those, it's a different game.
What's your likely options for the halves going forwards? Will you stick with what you went with tonight, or is that?
I'll talk to the players and we'll go through that. I haven't even thought about that, to be honest. I'm just sort of more concerned about the boys, and Ez is actually pretty positive, so we'll see where that takes itself throughout the week.
Did he say he felt he was a bit higher up his hamstring?
Sometimes it can be a bit nervy as well, so it can actually go down through into your hamstring. So every now and then you get a bit of luck.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.